Man, I swear it's been so crazy trying to get this thought out, man. It's probably, I don't even want to say how many times I tried to make this video, but I'm excited and I'm just going to cut right to the chase. My name is Mills. I'm the tattoo therapist. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at the tattoo therapist, and it's TATU. That's how I spell tattoo. And it's Swahili for three or third. And I'm real big into numerology, but we'll talk to that later. Talk about that later, right? So I just want to shed some light on why I think it's very, very important for clients, customers, consumers to always be open-minded when it comes to paying higher prices for the services and goods that they purchase, right? Same with practitioners, tattoo artists, hairstylists, personal chefs, all these types of things, right? It's very important to charge more. And, speaking directly to the consumer right now, think about staying at a hotel, for example, right? If you stay at a hotel that's 5 star, imagine what that room service must be like. You know what I mean? Imagine how clean and pristine these rooms must be. You know what I mean? Imagine the scenery around where you're staying. Everything is probably, more than likely top of the line. And I haven't been at 5 stars, but I've stayed at some very beautiful places that had beautiful art, and I mean just gorgeous. So the overall experience is nice, and you have a lasting memory. Now, when you think about like a motel where it may be 25, 35 a night, something like that, don't be surprised if you see roaches in that mug. Don't be surprised if, how much do you think they can afford to pay room service if their guests are paying 25, 30, you know what I mean, a night? Not much, you know what I mean? So the cleanliness is, questionable. The amenities that come with it are questionable. I see some of these motels pass by them, and their selling point is still that they have cable TV. You know what I mean? But you go to the 5 star, and I mean, the way you're treated most of the time and the things that come with it is just out of this world. So, obviously you will want that better thing, you know what I mean? If you value where you sleep at night when you're out of town or whatever. So same with I always like to use cars as well as an example because it's another like big purchase, right? Um and I understand when it's not a fair analogy all the way because you could use your car to go get more money. So it can make some of that money back. But for the sake of the argument, let's just assume that you work at home and that, the extent of you driving this car is just going to run errands, so on and so forth, right? So when you talk about getting a deal, something is only a deal if you can get the same value for a cheaper price. Okay? You can go out, you can get $1,000 vehicle, or you can get a $100,000 vehicle. You're not getting a deal unless you're getting that $100,000 vehicle for $1,000, right? So what'll happen is sometimes people inquire about pricing and they'll say, "Oh no, this is a little bit too high, so let me go somewhere else where they will give me a lower quote." And what happens is, first of all, you always gonna be able to find somebody cheaper. But then what happens? I've had people ask me for a price, get a price that they're not, feel that they can't afford. Then they go somewhere else and get a tattoo that they're not proud of or not happy with. You know what I mean? So you didn't get a deal, okay? You could have had $100,000 car, but instead you chose to go a cheaper route and get $1,000 car that may only last you a shorter amount of time where you're happy with it. Then you have to, scramble for something else. So in that same respect, when we think about purchasing these cars, I get a lot of people who ask, how much for a sleeve? How much for a back piece? You know? And this is almost like when you go to a car dealership, it don't matter how much the car costs overall. It does, but it don't. Because guess what? If the car is $100,000, but your car note only gonna be $100 a month, It don't matter that it's $100,000 because you can afford that monthly note. So when we think about a sleeve or something like that that's large on a big scale, break it down and work at your own pace. Say, come in, say, hey, I got $100, $200. I would like to, you know, work on my sleeve. Stop looking at what the overall price is because you're not about to come in and drop that cheese. So work at your own price. So for the individuals who are tattoo artists, stylists, barbers, anything like that, it's in your best interest to also charge more for respect. Period. People spend more on things that they value at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I have a friend, I always talk about him a lot. Shout out to my man Cartier White. You know what I'm saying? I have a friend who's very into high end fashion. He has $1,000 shoes, $1,500 shoes, $800 shoes. He values that. So he sees the value, so he don't mind paying. Where somebody like me, I'll get some 20, 30, 40, $50 shoes. Because for me, it's just all about the functionality. Like I want something that looks okay and I can walk in them and everything good. But in terms of having some fancy name and something like I'm not that big into it. But there are people who value it. So at the end of the day, typically people who value tattoo work or whatever it is that you do, they see how important and significant it is, so they won't mind paying. People who are just kind of like, I just want to get this little tat, but it doesn't mean much to them, it's not very important, they're not going to spend that amount of money. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if you want to deal with clients who understand the industry that you're in, who understand the value and what it is that you do, charge more. Charge more. When you and then you won't overexert your energy as well. If your daily quota, just for the sake of easy numbers, if your daily quota is $100 and you a barber, you can cut 10 heads for $100, or you can cut 5 and spend more time on. I'm sorry, yeah, or you can cut 5, $20 a piece, and spend more time on each individual person, not feel like you're overwhelmed and feel like you got so many different people to deal with. um and like I said, it's just respect, man. It's just all about respect. People, when it's cheap stuff, you know I've had individuals come up to me and be like, yo, buy my CD, I rap, whoop whoop whoop, and it'll be like, give me whatever you can, man. If you got $1, $2, whatever, think about that. I also probably didn't listen to them CDs 9 times out of 10. But if somebody like, yo, I charge $20, you know what I mean, for these CDs. You don't want it, that's cool, peace, bro. I charge $30. For one, you're gonna be like, who is this? Where they feel like they, can charge $20, $30. You just gonna assume that they got their shit together. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. And you're gonna be much more likely, because you spent a higher amount, you're gonna be much more likely to listen to it, and you're gonna think highly of it. If some of these rappers who are now currently mainstream and famous, if some of them were not rich, if you didn't, well, many of them aren't, but if you didn't have the illusion that they were rich, you wouldn't respect them as much. You know what I mean? But because you think they have a lot of money, you think they're valuable, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll watch, I'll listen to this, and now it's like, it sounds better. So at the end of the day, clients pay more. You know what I mean? If you go to a barber and they charge $30 to cut hair, and somehow, some way you talk them down to $5 or $10, they may still cut your hair and deal with you. But bro, it's not gonna be to the same extent. Cause what if that person charges 30 and you give them 40? You let them know like, yo, I give you 40. They gonna go all out. All of my best work has come from situations where I'm getting paid a higher price. When you get paid a higher price, you don't feel bad or like, like you're doing something wrong by putting a lot of effort into it. But if I'm only getting $50, bro, it's only so much time I'm about to really put into this. Period. So and Entrepreneurs charge more, charge more, charge more. People value what they spend a lot of money on. They don't spend, and not even a lot, but just, a decent amount, man. And you don't want to be known as, oh, I go to this person because they cheap. Last thought, think about if you were a person, right, who who maybe like flew private or went to big conferences, and the type, think about the type of people you would meet and the connections you can make. One of my favorite clients who, pays handsomely, you know what I mean? She was she did PR at the UAW, you know what I mean? Doing PR work for, the president of GM, the president of this person. She's retired now. But she offers some of her PR services to me free of charge. And, we haven't gotten around to it, but that's only something that someone in a certain tax bracket or somebody who can afford certain things can offer you. What can someone who is mad cheap offer you other than referring you to all the other cheap friends? You know what I mean? But someone who can afford to spend $1,000 on a tattoo, imagine the people that they know and the connections they can put you up on. You understand? So this already too long, about 11 minutes or so. I'm gonna cut it right here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you disagree with anything I said, or if it's some things that you might want me to elaborate, or if you feel as though like, oh, but what if this person says this, and what if I don't get, let me know whatever concerns you may have, and I would like to make a follow-up video. But man, it's something to think about. The people who don't value you, you shouldn't work with those individuals. You should only work with people who see what you do as like in a very high regard. That way you own your P's and Q's. That way you feel like you're getting what you deserve, and you can reinvest into your business, into your supplies, whatever the case may be. Otherwise, man, don't run yourself into the ground. So peace, man. Appreciate y'all.